Today in this lecture, I'm going to focus on the different forms of business that are existing. So in this, briefly describing about the different forms of business that are there. The first basically deals with first we need to identify that what are the different types of business. In the present slide, you can see there are basically four types of business organization, that is sole proprietorship, partnership, which can be a general partnership or a limited partnership, limited liability company, corporations which are consisting of private limited company or a public limited company. Then we have joint ventures and franchisee. Now, forms of business, the ownership decisions are basically going to be taken on the basis of access to funding, control on the business, taxes paid by the business, and value of the firm itself. So these will be the criteria or maybe the reasons why you are going for a particular form of business. First, we go ahead with the sole proprietorship form of business. Very clearly, it is being evident that the sole word in proprietorship associates with the single owner. So, there is only one person who is handling the business. He has a single ownership where there is no sharing of profit and loss. The reason being, he is the only person who is investing in the firm. One man's capital, that means there is no partner, no sharing of funds is being done. So it's one man's capital which is being invested in the firm. Unlimited liability. Liability is the reason why basically you go for different forms of organizations. The reason is when you have a single owner. So if in case of bankruptcy or insolvency, how the debts are going to be covered. It is in this case, that is why it is unlimited liability. So in case of loss, how your losses can be recovered by a bank or the people from whom you have taken loans is through your personal property. So in this particular form of business, the liability is unlimited in nature. Then there is less legal formalities because there is no reason of conflict because you are the sole person who is handling the business, who is having the ownership. And one man's control is also there because there is no other person in the business. So there should be no sharing of responsibility. Now, the next form of business which I am focusing today in this small lecture is to introduce you with different form. So when we talk about sole proprietorship, which is the sole owner, in the partnership we can have minimum of 2 partners and maximum can be 10. But in case of a banking firm, it can be 20 as per the Act of 1932, Companies Act Section 4 defines it. It's basically a legal relationship between different partners who have contributed their capital. In this case also the liability of each partner is unlimited because in case of loss or insolvency, the debts will be recovered from the personal property of the individual. Here there can be different types of partners which I will be taking a separate section for. Next come a joint stock company. In this, there is the capital is being divided into number of transferable shares. So that means if I want to acquire 5 shares of Reliance, I have taken 5 shares from the market. So my ownership in the company is of 5 shares. So in case of loss, I will be only getting whatever loss is there on those 5 shares, and in case of profit, whatever profit is coming on those 5 shares will be given to me. So the liability in this case is limited to the number of shares or the capital which I have invested in the firm. Definitely large accumulation of funds can be there. Liability becomes limited. Definitely when the number is low, where everything is being informed to you by the company because it is listed in BSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange or the National Stock Exchange. If it in case, therefore it becomes imperative for these organizations to keep a transparency so that equity and fairness can be maintained amongst all its shareholders to keep the trust and confidence in the company. Then comes corporation. Now, what is a corporation? It A company offers with a board of directors. It has many subsidiaries. It operates apart from its owner. It is a separate legal entity from its owners, and many operate in several different ways. So it's basically a corporation form of business. The joint Hindu family, which is also part of the business uh, part, is so has to be taken that it is the business which is run by a Hindu undivided family is called a joint Hindu family. This kind of business is governed by the Hindu law. So this is also where you will find sons like Shram and Sham and sons, like this is coming. So this is again one of the form of business. I will be elaborating all these in the subsequent videos too.